Hey everybody, this is Zach with Tanuki Games. Today we're taking a look at one of the most hard-boiled action games released in recent memory, Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition. Please remember that a like, a comment, or a subscribe means a lot to me and of course, the channel. Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition includes all of the DLC which we'll be taking a look at, as well as the base game. Sleeping Dogs was developed by the late United Front, and it was originally released in 2012. Sleeping Dogs was released for the PS3, Xbox 360, Xbox One, PC, and I'm playing the PS4 version. Sleeping Dogs is steeped in 1980s and 1990s Hong Kong action films like Infernal Affairs and The Killer. While Sleeping Dogs wears its influences proudly on its jean jacket sleeve, it gives the player a unique experience that no other Western-developed game has ever attempted. Sleeping Dogs succeeds marvelously, but not without a few blemishes. Sleeping Dogs follows the tale of Wei Shen. He's an undercover cop trying to infiltrate the Sun On Yee, a faction gang of the Triads. Wei Shen and his family left Hong Kong when he was a kid, but he's been deported from the United States back to his hometown. He's then recruited by the police to go undercover to infiltrate the Sun On Yee. There are some wrongs that Wei Shen would like to right as well, and he has his sights set on a man named Dog Eyes. Dog Eyes runs a rival faction of the Sun On Yee vying for power as the police are closing in on the Triads organization. The pressure builds on each of the gang's bosses and paranoia abounds on both sides, the police and the Triads. Wei Shen's loyalties are divided between the law and his newfound Triad cohort. The tale of Sleeping Dogs is at its best when it straddles the gray areas of morality. Who are the bad guys, the cops or the gangsters? While some of the writing and dialogue are not the best, Sleeping Dogs manages to deliver an emotionally resonant story which will keep you engaged throughout the game. The tale gets pretty hot-blooded towards the final act and you'll want to stay for the resolution. In the end, Wei's sense of right and wrong make him a character that you can root for, regardless of his proximity to the law. There are 3 other DLCs included in the definitive edition of Sleeping Dogs. The Year of the Snake opens strong, with Wei Shen being put on traffic duty, but his mundane assignment heats up. A cult has planted bombs around Hong Kong and Wei needs to find the cult's leader before the end of the night. This DLC has the most potential as it could have explored more of Wei's Law and Order storyline, and what his life is like after the conclusion of the main story. Unfortunately, it quickly turns into fetch quests, and there isn't much story here. The second DLC, titled Nightmare in North Point, is a much stronger tale. Wei is out on a date when the ghost of an ex-triad pops up and kidnaps his lady friend. The ghost's name is Smiley Cat, and he has a bone to pick with Wei. The story brings back some of Wei's deceased rivals and allies. This part of the storytelling is very interesting and rewarding to those who have played through the main campaign. It also delves into East Asian superstitions of the afterlife, which are interesting. Also, the enemies are Jiangshi, which are a mix of zombies and vampires that only jump everywhere they go. I can only think of one other representation of these monsters in a video game, which is from Darkstalkers. I wouldn't recommend Nightmare in North Point for anyone who hasn't completed the main story, as it will spoil some plot points from the main campaign. The last DLC is my personal favorite of the 3, the Zodiac Tournament. It takes its cues from Enter the Dragon. Wei is pitted against other fighters from around the world in a tournament to see who is the strongest. The story feels and looks like a 1970s Hong Kong kung fu B-movie in the best way possible. Each one of these story DLCs will take anywhere from 45 minutes to about 2 hours to complete, significantly extending Sleeping Dogs' already substantial playtime. The gameplay in Sleeping Dogs is varied and proficient in all domains. As an open-world game, driving is the linchpin of the gameplay. It feels approachable while on a supercharged motorcycle or a sports car. The motorcycles are especially fun to drive, and the physics are forgiving. Motorcycles are the perfect solution for driving through narrow alleys, which complements the setting well. The steering during the driving can feel somewhat stiff though. You'll need to rely on your e-brake often. The hand-to-hand combat is the main draw of Sleeping Dogs. You can attack, counter, and grab your foes. The attacks are done with the square button. You can mash or hold the button to get different combos. Counter is triangle, and grabs are executed with O. The counter timing can take a little bit getting used to. There are environmental hazards that you can throw your enemies into, which is great for crowd control, and add an intensity to each combat situation. The shooting in Sleeping Dogs is very well handled and precise. You can vault over cover and shoot in slow-mo, which feels great. There are many other gameplay activities, from snacking on bowls of noodles, to street racing, to bugging surveillance cameras, to cockfighting. Sleeping Dogs packs a lot of variety into its portrayal of Hong Kong. There are some leveling up elements in each mission as well, which are divided into face, triad, martial arts, and cop. These different systems allow you to have extra abilities or discounts at stores. Face meter can be earned by helping out strangers or winning races. You can access more outfits or faster cars with more face. In story missions, you can increase your triad level by throwing enemies into hazards, using weapons, or just generally doing gangster-ass shit.
Come on, fuckers!
Then there are statues that you can collect for new kung fu moves. Each statue you collect unlocks a new move until Wei unlocks the ultimate move, Dim Mak. The cop meter only depletes as you play a mission. If you run into a street lamp, you lose a point. I'm not a huge fan of this scoring criteria because once you make one mistake, you lose the entire point. Sleeping Dogs can feel a bit like a collectathon, but you can get so many extra abilities out of it, you feel rewarded for exploring and pumping up your score on each mission. Hong Kong is the backdrop of this action romp, and it's wonderfully realized. While Sleeping Dogs was never a looker due to its long development cycle, United Front cleaned up the visuals for the PS4 nicely. The reflective surfaces of rain puddles and the paint on cars are all smoothly executed. Hong Kong is far more crowded than the prior version of the game due to the extra power of next-gen hardware, with many more people and cars on the street. This helps you feel more in the setting. The island is divided into 4 distinct districts. North Point is crowded with small shops and signs all over the skyline. Then there's Central with high-rises, upscale shopping, and much nicer cars to commandeer. The last 2 neighborhoods are Aberdeen and Kennedy Town with more ports and a mixture of high-rises and slums. The halogen signs in Chinese and the crowded apartments give you an excellent impression of Hong Kong. But it is still a sketch of the city, not a one-to-one recreation. One of the cool things about Sleeping Dogs is the outfits. Many of them are nods to Hong Kong action films like Bruce Lee's yellow tracksuit from Game of Death and Jackie Chan's tank top and jeans from Rumble in the Bronx. The colors used for Sleeping Dogs vary from dingy hues of metropolitan Hong Kong to the lush greens and blues of the mountains on the outskirts of the map. Since Sleeping Dogs takes place in a tropical climate, there's always plenty of sun and rain. The dynamic day and night cycles and the weather patterns are all welcome. The character models look a little rough around the edges. The characters look good, but each one of them seems off to me. Also, the camera can be a little bit unwieldy, especially when backing up a motorcycle. That, coupled with the persistent glitching, keeps Sleeping Dogs from looking its best up close. However, when you're driving full speed down a busy street, or punching your way through a gang of thugs, Sleeping Dogs looks great. The sound, music, and voice are all notable in Sleeping Dogs. The sound design in Sleeping Dogs is an interesting mix of ambient sounds and busy streets. While running through the city, you hear people bellowing in Cantonese, and pork bun hawking vendors are around every corner. I love this aspect of the soundscape in Sleeping Dogs. The sounds of noisy vehicles and scooters puttering are all convincing. This gives the game a sense of place and it feels authentic. The guns are a little tinny and hollow sounding, but the thud of Wei's fists against countless enemies' faces sounds great. The music in Sleeping Dogs is mostly delivered to you via the radio stations. The stations play everything from Canto hip-hop to Thin Lizzy. Probably my favorite station is Softly, which plays more chilled-out traditional tracks. The licensed music is great, and the standout artists, in my mind, are the collaborations between Sean Lee and Beibei. Sean Lee is a music producer, and Beibei plays the guzheng, a traditional Chinese instrument. Their music suits the action sequences perfectly. Check out their album Into the Wind if you need more. The action score in Sleeping Dogs is excellent, and it has a cinematic flair to it that fits perfectly with shootouts. The voice acting in Sleeping Dogs is superb.
God damn it. I bet $1,000 I was going to be carrying you out in a fucking body bag. Uncle Paul must like you.
Yeah, I don't think he has an opinion on me either way.
All right. I tell you what, you get tired of spinning your wheels in the night market, give me a call.
There are major talents involved with the game, most notably Emma Watson. Edison Chen is another big-name talent who plays Wei's best friend, Jackie. He was in Infernal Affairs, which is the main inspiration for the tale of Sleeping Dogs. Everyone else suits their roles well, including Wei, played by Will Yun Lee. Since Wei is a pretty aggressive personality, Lee needed a lot of range, and his performance is delivered well.
Give a fuck! You see our guest out, make sure he doesn't get lost.
You'll regret this. I promised you that.
Everyone in Sleeping Dogs speaks a blend of Cantonese and English, and it's fitting. Due to Hong Kong's history with the British Empire, this concoction of languages helps cement the setting and story.
Wait, you're coming with me.
Sleeping Dogs is not a super challenging game, but it does have an admirable amount of variety. There are many activities to challenge your skills, and it will take you from 14 to 40 hours to complete the game. You can pick up Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition for around $15, and the original edition will run you about $5. For $15, you get all of the story DLC and loads of extra activities, vehicles, and outfits not found in the base game. Over the past few years, there's been a lot of discussion of diversity in nerd culture as it relates to comic books and video games. Sleeping Dogs is an excellent example of how to implement a diverse cast of characters. The characters are bilingual, the romances Wei pursues are cross-racial and cross-cultural, and the setting of Hong Kong feels authentic and one of a kind. Sleeping Dogs takes major risks, and it pays off. The game uses a non-Western culture without whitewashing it or stereotyping it. It has characters that are complex and reflect the times that we live in, a time of cultural exchange and multiple identities. While Sleeping Dogs still adheres to the tropes of open-world games, you can tell that Sleeping Dogs was a passion project for the developers. Only with a true vision for what this game was meant to be could the developers at United Front create such a great game. I have fond memories of Sleeping Dogs, and unfortunately, we probably won't get another installment in the franchise. Let's hope that the ripples of Sleeping Dogs can be felt for a long time to come, though. This is Zach with Tanuki Games. Please remember that a like, a comment, or subscribe means a lot to me and, of course, the channel. Enjoy.
You old guy like rolling home money, you gotta pay.
I'm sorry!
I don't care if you're sorry. I care if you have the money.